Peace, family, peace, 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 peace. Okay, so my phone is, I don't know what percentage my phone is on, but I know, let me just say this, okay. The reason why the thing that you fear, matter of fact, let me get a charger, honey, because it ain't even professional if I come on here and the phone is about to die. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Honey, I gotta sit over on this thing in order to charge my phone. Okay. So the reason why the fear have not left yet, right, is because you won't step into it. All right. If you are hanging around people, sometimes how you hang around people and you may say to them, you may be like, or maybe you feel like if you express that you're afraid of something, that they may make fun of you, right? Or they may be like, you afraid of that? Like, you ever told somebody, like, what you was afraid of? And they was like, you afraid of that? Right? And it made you feel like whatever that thing that you was afraid of, that you shouldn't be afraid of it, right? This is what you have to understand. If you hanging around people who don't push themselves, you never going to push yourself, okay? Because what you be around, that's what you become. Also, you're going to have to step into the fear. When it was once upon a time, I remember doing the coaching thing, being coached by Bob Proctor. I remember I had said I was afraid of public speaking. And one of the things Bob Proctor recommended, and this is why I started doing Toastmasters. So I started doing Toastmasters. And in order for me to have gotten over the fear, I had to step into it. And after I did Toastmasters for a while, the location that I was going to, they closed Toastmasters down. So then I started going to different Toastmasters, but then by that time it was online only, right? Because I believe in pushing myself. So after that, okay, a lot of you guys know I had a public speaking thing, right? A public 1 second, family. Okay. So the thing that you're afraid to do, you're gonna just have to jump into it. Okay, you just gonna have to take that leap out on faith. And the reason why you are afraid to do that thing is because you practicing someone else's fear, right? I said this earlier in the video. If you have heard your mama say all the time that she was afraid of water, chances are you are going to be afraid of water because that's what you heard your mama say. And you're not really living if you're not doing the thing that you are called to do. Okay? It's been times where as though I've been afraid to do half of the shit that I do. When I first started doing these videos, I was afraid. I was afraid to do it. But the message and me showing up, it was bigger than me being like, oh, well, I'm afraid to do it. Okay? I still showed up. I still constantly did it. Because the only way to get over it is to get in it. Okay? And let me tell you something else. Confidence is way powering than fear. Okay? Also, the reason why you scared too is because you constantly keep telling yourself this. You keep on saying, remember, what you constantly tell yourself, that becomes your reality. Okay? I remember it was once upon a time, me picking my children up. I would be like nervous, right? Because it's like a crowd of people and all this other stuff. What would I do? What I focus on is seeing my daughter, okay? And that smile she has on her face. When she see me in a crowd, waving my hands, and she comes down, she comes down from this little slanted hill and she be running full force, okay, to give me a hug. That's what I focus on. So, whatever it is that you afraid of, you're gonna have to step into it. It's not leaving, okay? So you have one, when I put those pictures up of myself, right, and I say, what are you doing that your future self is going to thank you for? Okay. I do that for us to have a dialogue. Okay. Never think by you saying, well, I'm afraid of this. My youngest son, I had to have this conversation with him a few days ago because I noticed whenever he needs help, he won't voice it. He'd just rather not know the answer. And one of the things I told him was this. Confidence comes from knowledge. Confidence comes from when you step into that thing and you do it. It does not mean you are weak because you ask for help. Actually, it means you are strong. And sometimes my youngest son would say, one of his aunts know everything. So he had this perception that you're supposed to know everything. I tell him, listen, hold on, Playboy. Come on, okay? No one knows everything. And it's okay for you not to know. Because if you're saying you know everything, you're rocking out to the ego. And how are you going to be receptive for information if you're saying you know everything? So we have this conversation. And what I tell my son is, listen, you have two choices. You could walk around with a self-image of insecure, lack of confidence, or you could ask for help. And so the more you know the answers, the more confident you become. Okay? The more you know the answers, the more... listen to this. I had heard somebody say that they had an idea, a dream, right? Like they wanted to quit. It was actually Bob Proctor's partner, Sandy Gallagher, right? And Bob Proctor, again, I know you guys by now, you should know who I'm talking about. Bob Proctor was part of The Secret, okay, Law of Attraction, all this other stuff. So I remember listening to a seminar. Well, they had a seminar, a conference, right? And his partner at the time, she was she was doing something with banking, right? Like flipping, like she was part of like a big industry biz, though she was like an attorney, like had, was over like so much money and stuff like that, right? And I remember she said when she had went to one of Bob Proctor's conferences, right? Bob Proctor was asking, the audience, like, what is it that they really want? And one of the things she wrote down was, now here she is like really knowledgeable about, banking and all this other stuff. And one of the things she said, she wanted to work with Bob Proctor, like, teaching about manifestation, why people do some of the things that they don't want to do, that they know they want to do it, but they don't do it, just studying the human mind, right? And so when Bob Proctor told them, everybody in the audience to write down what it is that they really wanted, she wrote it down really, really small. And one of the things Bob Proctor said was the reason why she wrote it down small, because that subconscious kicked in, right? She wrote it down small because it was a part of her that believed like she had never be able to do this. You ever had somebody that, they probably couldn't spell it well, and they try to, they probably write in cursive and try to write sloppy so you can't understand, so you won't be able to tell that they misspelled that goddamn word. Okay? You ever had somebody like that? Same as that concept, okay? If you know how to, if you are confident about something, you are going to, honey, you want them to see it. Even with my youngest son, when he was frightened, I said, wait, hold on now. He rushing, trying to hurry up and run. I said, what the heck is this? So then I erased it. I said, come on, we got to do a better job than this, right? And so then I said, you know the answer, right? You just told me the answer. All right, so write it like you know it, okay? That's the only way confidence is built, okay? Confidence can't be bought. You can't buy confidence, okay? The only way to build confidence, okay? One, whatever you are afraid of, you have to step into it, okay? Knowledge is power, okay? Also, you have to ask for help. Just because you ask for help, so you prefer to just go through your whole entire life not knowing the answer as opposed to because you don't want to look a certain type of way? Last night when we was in Taco Bell, right? And it was something on the menu. Honey, I did not know because the guy was saying that the deals they ain't have them no more. Okay. And so I asked the guy, I guess he was like the manager or something. I don't know. But I was asking him, I said, what's that? He said, so he told me what it was. And honey, I done forgot what he said. So I said again, hey, what's that again? And then he said it. And then we had this wonderful, amazing dialogue because I was telling him about onions. Like, I love onions on my food. And then he was like, don't you? He was like, don't the onions taste so good when you eat them? It's something about the onions on the food, right? Like, it gives it like a different taste. And we had this amazing dialogue. But imagine if I would have said, all right, I take that and don't know what the hell I'm getting. No, I'm going to ask questions. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Whenever you go to ask a question and a person, oftentimes they act a certain type of way. They probably give you an attitude. Honey, it ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It's either one or two things. They done brought into a goddamn system that they don't like. Okay. They are focused on a problem as opposed to knowing that there's a solution to every goddamn problem. And then two, they doing something that they absolutely positively do not like. Okay, and that ain't got shit to do with you. That ain't none of your business, and you ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay, all right. Oftentimes, when I encounter like people, a certain type of people, what I would do, I would ask them questions. I would say, "How's your day going?" Okay, because I want them to. First, I would do it. I'm not gonna lie, to try to be funny. Okay. Because I wanted them to see, like, I see your day ain't going so good, but what's going on with you, right? And then you'll be surprised. Huh? Where? Your shirt? Look at my drawer. I don't have it. But I would notice that one lady, right, that I met when I had went to Dwayne Reed's, right? At that time it was Dwayne Reed's. And I remember, when I would go to the line, she would look so upset, right? Like before when I'm on the line, I would see like, her whole demeanor, like she upset. And so one day I went up to her, okay, like I'm checking out and stuff. And I said, how's your day coming along? And you be surprised, because sometimes people, what I say, honey, you listen, when you starting on yourself, you know how to interact with people, okay? So I said to her, I said, how's your day coming along? Sometimes people just want the attention to the problem, because they don't see a solution. And honey, if I come up with a solution, honey, don't call me. Don't keep talking to me about that same problem, because if you do, that means you don't want to solve the problem. You want to just stay with the god dog on complaints because you like the attention from the problem. Okay? So that's how you're going to step into it. That's how you're going to face your fear. Okay? 3 ways you're going to face your fear. You're going to step into it. That's the only way. You're afraid to travel outside the country, honey, you're going to have to start doing it. You're afraid to do public speaking, you're going to have to start doing it. Okay? Energy goes with you. It's not a such thing as energy stays home. Energy goes with you. Okay? So the way you are where you live at, and the way people interact with you where you live at, honey, best to believe when you go outside the states, they're going to interact with you the same exact way. Because why? Because energy goes along with you. There's not a such thing as I'm going to leave my energy home and I'm going to bring myself. Okay? Energy goes with you. That's one. 2, you could understand that confidence is way sexier than fear. Okay? So if you're afraid, honey, expressing it, saying, you know what? I was a little afraid to do this. And you'll be surprised how many other people be like, you was, I was too, right? You'll be surprised. It opens up a dialogue. Now, you don't want to stay there. Okay, you don't want to stay there. 3, you could also repeat this affirmation. Okay, I am paused. I am serene. I am calm. Okay. And you constantly repeat that. Whenever you feel, one of the things that I constantly repeat is, I am full of peace. I am full of harmony. I am full of peace. I am full of harmony. And I keep on saying, because you want to be mindful of where your energy is going. Because energy grows where energy goes. Okay. So I hope this helps somebody out there. Right. But it's not a such thing as the fear is going away while you do nothing about it. The fear is going to constantly stay there, okay, until you step into it. And it's not even your fear. It's somebody else's fear. So you got to start understanding that I have what it takes, okay? I do not have to stay there. I do not have to constantly stay in a prison that I have created for myself. You can move at any given time, because you are a creator. You're a whole creator out here. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.